order.
Let's do it.
Wow, that's exciting.
This is an exciting day today.
Chairman Steve Dyer,
Here.
Kyle Cook,
Here.
Mark Zolenzowski.
Here.
Todd McConnell,
Here.
Brian Hamel.
Here.
All right, roll call's done. Public comments on items that are not on the agenda. Did you get any slips today, Ms. Teresa?
I did not.
I'm not seeing any hands. Anybody stand up? Let's go ahead and skip to number 5.
Or, yeah.
I don't have any new materials for you for the tabled application, so.
For the wall mural? So we'll just keep it tabled. Do we got to make a motion for that?
No.
Okay.
Section 1159, light manufacturing. This draft was withdrawn by council and sent back to us. Do we have,
Yeah, if the city has any recommendations or anything based on what council stated?
So I'll try to give some background, and Kyle, I think you were in attendance, so if I miss anything, please fill in the blanks. But the application to do the text amendment went to council. They had a couple readings, and we had some public participation from the property owners, which they are here with us tonight. And they were articulating concerns and conveying those concerns to council. Council at that time said that they would reevaluate it, and reevaluating was moving it back to the Planning and Zoning Commission to, again, hear the concerns of the property owners related to the areas that are not being, I guess, opened up for the increased permitted uses within the Commerce Boulevard Drive area. And so with that said,
so if I can clarify, so was that instructed from city council,
what's that?
that what you just said? All those things, like, so basically they want us to review to this, what were the instructions from city council?
So they didn't really give necessarily like instruction of you should do this, change that. It was merely a, hey, let's dive back into it. Let's allow for the property owners to articulate some of those concerns and then see if there is a way forward. And modifying it, keeping it the same? Is it possible to alleviate all the concerns associated with it? Really, they didn't articulate specifically. I think they were just saying, hey, this isn't our realm. Let's go back to zoning, and that's probably a better platform to have the dialogue between the property owners and the city, and see if you can flesh out some of the nuances that may or may not exist. And so
okay.
Trevor was at the last meeting. The property owners were in attendance at the last meeting. Ran a little long, but we were able to get you guys in for public comment, and they were able to convey some of those concerns to Trevor so that he could produce the memo that you guys have before you tonight. And just for some clarification, Trevor looks a lot different tonight.
He does.
This is Chris. Some of you may or may not have met Chris before. Chris is with MKSK, and Trevor has moved on to new opportunities elsewhere. So his last day was last Friday. He did do the report and the evaluation for us, but Chris will be filling in his stead, and also Yanko maybe filling in as well while we kind of figure things out. So
Excited to have you, Chris. Thanks for joining us. We're gonna miss Trevor, though. He was a good dude.
yeah.
No, thanks, Sean. That's pretty much
Okay.
the summary of it. I mean, there was not real clear direction from council, but what we heard from the property owners was, like Sean said, the opening it up more to the uses that we were putting in here. And to those that weren't a part of the original conversation when we looked at this, the whole point of light manufacturing obviously is to bring in more income to the city. And when we looked at the old code, it had quite a few outdated purposes and didn't really have a lot of offering to people that would want to do business here. And putting that in there just removes red tape. If we allow it already, then they don't have to worry about it, and they're like, yes, we want to be there because it's already allowed. The one thing that we did see that we missed was opening it up for Endeavor Court to be included in there, because that's already in light manufacturing. But right now, the way it's worded is it restricts the current businesses from growing in that area if they would like to expand. And then also Sportsman Club should be added so that the whole light manufacturing can be an opportunity for developers and manufacturing to come in. So council sent it back for us to discuss adding Endeavor Court and Sportsman Club to the code so that light manufacturing can be opened up more possibilities.
Does that mean we just rezone it from whatever it is today?
No, it's
or-
currently zoned that way. It's just, we just add those two roads to the code. It's just not mentioned. Am I wording that right, Sean?
Yeah, I think the request from the applicants is to add Sportsman's Club and Endeavor Court
To these changes.
to these changes because the way the code is, the way the proposed amendment is written right now, the increased permitted uses really only applies to Commerce Boulevard, I believe, 62. So they have been given additional entitlements for Commerce in 62, and the applicant, or not applicant, sorry, I keep referring to you as the applicant, the property owner would like to see those uses expanded to Endeavor as well as Sportsman's Club. And I think Kyle articulated it well. It removes any of the red tape that could be associated with the permitted uses within that district, so.
And so it doesn't change the code, it just allows the usage in those streets that are already there.
Expanding to those streets.
Yes.
Can we pull up a map while everybody's asking for a map?
Is there a reason that Endeavor Court needs to be included? Because
Yeah,
it
Teresa's
has
got it
direct
up.
access to Commerce Boulevard.
Yeah, it was written, and what we were sent said Sportsman Club, but I don't see it now on this copy.
see if-
If anyone can find it.
I don't think we
I've
did
not
have
seen-
Sportsman Club in the original.
We didn't have Sportsman's Club on there before.
I can get into
And Endeavor Court needs to be added so that the usages around it can be expanded too if they want to.
It says the following may
They're
be
not gonna be
developed
able to-
on 2 parcels, acres, and larger than have frontage, blah, 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 on US 62, Commerce Boulevard, and Greenscape. But I don't see that on what we got today. So do we have, is what we were sent different than what we got today? And should I just ignore what we were sent, is what I'm asking? I don't know.
I'm sorry.
It's on, Ryan, it's on
I missing
page
it?
4 of 9, the first red line.
Oh, it's the first red line. So yeah, I think we need to pull it up because I'm gonna have a lot of questions.
I'm gonna pull up the map.
So I had the same comment that Kyle had also. So Endeavor Court is at the end of Commerce. So you can only turn left if you're coming off Commerce, but it's kind of a dead-end street. But as far as the map is concerned, at least the map that I look at, there's other streets that are light manufacturing also. They're labeled as that, Track Street, I think Ford Street, those areas. So if we're going to list streets in there, then I think that the different streets that are available right now.
Yeah.
But then my question also becomes, what happens if there's expansions in different roads?
Yeah, I was thinking,
Do we
because
then
why are
have
we
to come
listing
back
streets
and-
when we don't have streets anywhere else? That was what threw me off.
So that's what my second
Yes.
question
Yeah.
becomes is, do we
Because of
have
the
to list
residential homes.
streets?
So we're listing the streets, I think, is the residential area that butts up against Track. And when we
So
were
it's a-
originally looking at it, we were also trying to limit the types of manufacturing that was going to come in and butt directly up against our downtown residential.
So if we could back up further, Sean, if you're available. The district is very
If
old,
I'm
right?
remembering correctly.
Uh,
Started
The light manufacturing district, and it
Yeah.
it intermixes with residential
with me, but it was
on the south end of that district.
took a while to get.
Yeah, let me pull it up here.
Yeah, we're gonna pull up a map and it's gonna clarify this. But it was labeled that way years ago.
Right here.
Can't change it.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah, so to answer your question, Steve, some of the light manufacturing has been in existence there for
Is this-
quite some
is that-
time.
is that the-
Well, I'm not questioning that it should be
Area along
labeled that
Track.
way.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We'll get there.
So that was the reason.
Saying, yeah, he wasn't questioning it.
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
Down over
Then we're
here.
not going to that.
No, because it was labeled that years ago and now residential moved in.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, we're only applying it to streets now instead of the whole
Oh, we can't.
district because we,
I mean, we can.
we have residential homes. We don't think those neighbors want a business right next to
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
But in this light manufacturing district up to the northern part, this map cleared up, that's why we're labeling streets, is because there's no
Somebody could buy up.
residents that will be affected like the ones on the
That's a
southern.
lot, yeah.
All right.
So if we label the streets, it keeps those residential areas from being affected.
So get your map up.
Residents.
Brian, did you catch that? The whole point of why we started labeling streets was to protect the area like in Track Street and that
So
side
just
of
a
it.
spot.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
I was like, because we were all three a part of the original
Yeah.
discussion on that, yeah.
okay.
Yeah, they wanted to restrict the increased use along Track Street. I think Ford Street has some there. So that was the thought process there. The restriction on the Commerce Boulevard and the 62 side and not bringing in Sportsman's Club as well as Endeavor Court really related around the potential for increased traffic. As the 3762 intersection is problematic as it is. I think there was a concern that increasing different types of employment, not knowing what type of employment could exist, that could have unintended consequences and potentially create a larger problem at that particular intersection. So that was, I think, the reasoning for allowing Commerce and Endeavor, because obviously they're not surrounded by residential, allowing those kind of built out, if you will, areas to have some additional entitlements. But then I believe Trevor and articulated that in his report, Sportsman's Club and Endeavor Court would unlock a large amount of land with additional entitlements, and those additional entitlements could have different types of manufacturing or job employment centers that would potentially produce either employment traffic or logistical traffic related to whatever industry that they're a part of, whether that be truck traffic or van traffic or box truck traffic, who knows?
And to that point, like what Trevor also said, so would residential.
Yep.
So now we're basically deciding the risk of opening it up, the area, the traffic risk, basically. Is that
I think that.
Is that the assumption, is that what we're
Trevor's
gonna have to
report, that
decide?
is what he articulated, and I'll let Chris weigh in on that. I don't want to put words in Trevor's mouth, but that was, I'm trying to find the specific part of the report, but if Chris wants to add anything or inform us of what his thoughts may be, certainly able to do so.
I think the proximity of sports clubs to exit probably is the biggest concern from a traffic point of view, and just what needs to happen there. Traffic's gonna grow, but as development happens, what the impact is gonna be to the intersection there. If traffic gets on Sportsman Club, then it's probably, it will be across from residential, but it'll have that intersection. If traffic goes down, what am I gonna name?
I'm sorry, Chris, do you need me to blow it up?
Roberts Road.
Commerce.
They have,
We're adding more traffic on Commerce. I think that's the question. You all are here on a regular basis and kind of know what the existing situation is. It's just whether and to what extent that's a concern.
Can I ask questions?
Certainly.
All right, so I'm going to point out, so we're talking about like this whole landmass here, but I'm assuming you all own this, right? Okay. What's the problem? I don't understand. I'm missing the point of what I'm, like, I understand increased traffic coming through, but if you own this,
These
is
streets
it
right
not
here?
LM already?
No, it's residential.
It's residential.
No, it's zoned light manufacturing, but the potential changes that Trevor and the board worked through the last time would allow for additional entitlements within that same zoning district to occur here. It would not allow for those same entitlements to occur.
Oh,
So we just missed
Why
two
not?
roads, that's it.
we missed, but why would, if it's,
And the only
sorry.
reason,
Why would
we
miss
added
roads,
roads,
though?
Brian, was because we
Yeah.
were trying to limit the growth in light manufacturing on the other side that is directly south, yeah, that's directly in behind residential that's already there.
Because, but the question is this park, you said that's LM for
Yes.
some reason today.
Yeah,
Right.
some of this right here.
Because it's old.
Ford Street, which is,
But someone could still come in and,
Yes, but not to the uses that we're adding to it. So we're increasing the amount of uses that's in the code today.
okay,
And we did that to allow for more opportunities to
Right,
come in.
right.
And in doing so, we also didn't want to impact the other area of light manufacturing, so we listed roads. And that
we
was the
did.
easiest way to do it instead of splitting it into two different
What
light
we
manufacturing
proposed before
districts.
listed roads.
Yeah, our original proposal had listed.
Oh, the previous one that we approved.
Yeah, so this, only thing we're doing today, only thing I was going to make a motion of was to say add Endeavor Court and add Sportsman Club.
Okay.
The problem, and you guys will vote obviously how you will, but if we add Endeavor Court, there's one call out in here for paint and powder coating manufacturing that has to be no closer than 100 feet from any property line abutting an adjacent residential use. Just paint, right? So they could technically put something else on that property that's south of Endeavor Court that also has a lot of water, standing water sitting on it, which will then impact all of Concord Crossing, probably heavily, because that plot goes all the way along the backside of Concord Crossing. Whereas everything else currently has access there. I guess it is, I think Atrium owns all the way back there. They would be the only ones who would potentially be affected in the future for that, unless we said if they had access on, because we call out and, not or, frontage. Because there's no frontage for Commerce Boulevard. Their parking lot connects to it, so unless they expanded that particular building and considered it all one building all the way back, that's just my concern with Endeavor.
All right, so I'm a little confused. Can you summarize that? So you're concerned that if Endeavor's included, that the water's gonna be,
So it's kind of a two-part piece, right? Because it's whoever owns, I want to say it's Atrium that owns all of those.
I think they do.
It's kind of a two-parter. If we technically include Endeavor, they can put a building right up against everybody's houses right there. Where technically both of those bodies of water are sitting in the picture or on the map.
right?
So all of
They'll be
those people in
moved.
Concord will have a building sitting in their backyard. If we don't then limit everything to have 100 feet from an abutting residential property. Because we only call it out in paint and powder coating manufacturing.
It's not a bad point.
What about installing like hills and mounds and stuff?
Well,
Then you're dealing with the water.
Yeah,
It's-
that's all going to be.
Okay.
yeah.
But I noticed some stuff like that's not in the code either. We just say 15 feet unless it's blah, 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 blah. Had a bunch of questions on that too, but.
I thought there was code that there has to be separation. There, you can put mounds, you can put plants, you can use
not-
those as borders,
You
separation.
You can, but it's not called out specifically from what I was reading.
And it may not be in this specific code, but I know that there's something else that I've read, I think I read, that called out that you have to be able to use that.
So how close can you build a building?
I think there's always,
Rear setbacks no less than 25 feet.
So you're referring to like this section here, I'm assuming, because these are the
Yes.
houses here, so they could go
Just
all the way
Endeavor.
to the property line, basically.
20, I mean, this is rear setbacks 25 feet. So
to your
if
point,
they
Mark,
consider it a
we
rear or
could, we
side.
could add a part of that then that also protects that side and that side only when it comes to the,
It's almost like we have to put well, we don't have to.
we're doing it for
right?
the
We can-
powder, we're doing it for the paint and powder. So if you wanted to
Right.
add a stipulation, and we're already doing it for something like that, you can do it for that side of the court too.
But here's what I was, it's, on that exact thing, it says, "A rear setback shall not be required of structures whose rear wall is fireproof and contains windows, no doors, or openings." So that, to me, is a really big problem then for them, because then it's
Yeah.
all the way on their property.
Yeah.
So in section, I don't know how to read this, 1159.4, subsection 4, it says, "A rear setback shall not be required on structures whose rear wall is fireproof and contains no windows, doors, or openings except that of a real setback of 40 feet is required in such little," so.
No, that's actually, that abuts any residential lot, so it's 40 feet.
40 feet, okay. So then it's not 25 feet anymore. But there doesn't have to be any natural boundaries, it's just 40 feet.
Correct. So then how wide even is that
That
property?
plot, I don't know. Can you tell on there how wide that plot is?
Where I'm,
The Endeavor,
South of Endeavor Court.
I mean, probably if the road is 40 feet, I
You're
would
talking
guess.
right here to here?
Yes.
What's the width between this here and this here?
Yep.
Yeah. I'll get you a measurement.
Yeah, that there and that there. If I were to guess, that's 100 yards, no?
Here to here?
From the court to the back of their property, yeah.
364 feet.
So here's this piece,
They could I mean, they could technically have building.
consolidated between the building and public
Yeah,
highway.
they could put a building with 50 feet.
About a minimum of 25.
I mean, where else are you gonna put the water that's there?
I mean, that's in there.
Yeah, I don't know if that's even worth,
That's what I was talking.
Yeah.
Residential.
is that a natural pond? Do we
Yeah, that's.
protect natural ponds at all on that
Answer
road?
Brian's question, yeah.
This, through the state,
Through the state?
like there's water requirements, they have to, for every piece that they take up, they have to replace.
Is that also a creek that goes through there too?
Yeah, it looks like it, so I don't think there's gonna be a whole lot of building.
Brian, to your call out on the aesthetics,
So page 7 of 9, under D.
Oh, boy.
Aesthetic requirements. In the light manufacturing zoning district, landscaping may be consolidated between the building and public right-of-way, which may not be between the building and a house that you're referring to, but
Yeah.
it's abutting to a non-light manufacturing zone property shall provide a minimum 25-foot landscape buffer that includes canopy trees and understory vegetation will create a visual screen a minimum of 6.
So that applies here then, okay.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that,
So it's
my
a
feeling
building
is.
40
that-
feet and then 25 feet worth of landscaping or mounding.
Okay.
so
Okay,
you've
that's
got
really
that
good then.
distance.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, good call out, Tom.
And I guess really it's just water displacement at that point.
So
Yeah.
then,
What about my percentage? Did we talk about that? Or-
No, I think that is something we have to bring up too, because it's one of the subsections that's in there.
I hate to do another call out there.
It's all right.
But the ancillary uses, so page 5 of 9, or 13, retail wholesale of products manufactured on site as ancillary use to the primary manufacturing use. I know we put that in there, but I don't think there's any way to enforce it for the city. I've seen other cities, looking up other codes, they do square footage. Like 15% of the square footage of the building can only be dedicated to retail to prevent,
Having shopping.
yeah.
What's that?
And-
What page are you on? I'm sorry.
Page 5 of 9.
John, what's the question?
Yeah, number 13, where
There's no way to enforce the secondary use, the ancillary, I had to look that word
So
up.
they would need to submit in their application, anytime someone wants to do a permit for either a zoning permit. Oh, let me back up. So there's
So you don't want to strike that.
No, I just
conformity,
need to enforce it.
and compliance, so they would need to submit for their particular industry, and in that, they would have to identify sections of the use
Of the building.
of the building. So you'd be able to catch it at that level. Now, if they changed it unbeknownst to us and started to increase something along those lines, that would certainly be harder to regulate. But
Sure.
on the onset, whenever they first submit an application, it could be tracked and identified as far as ancillary versus.
Do you
the
see this
primary.
being an issue for the city and for you, or
For the primary and the ancillary, no.
no?
It's pretty customary, so.
Okay.
Whenever they submit, it's usually pretty easy to regulate. Now, if they start to switch that, that's obviously harder to know that something's been done in the background, but usually with manufacturing companies, they're pretty locked in whenever they submit a plan, generally.
So I'm catching up, but just so background, I mean, lots of manufacturers want to have some kind of display area, sales area, right? So it's okay to
Right.
sell some certain things. But what you don't want to have in an industrial area is have it turn into a retail shop. That's in other places. So this is saying the retail component of any kind of use here needs to be smaller than the main use. which-
Yeah, and what I'm saying is this wording's good enough. That'll qualify and we can enforce it. Like, we don't need to set a square footage or,
I mean, you can say
Well-
X% of the,
I know we can't, like, but this is standard.
Oh, yeah.
The board's good with it, I'm good.
Trevor's the one that worded it, so I would trust.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's pretty typical.
okay, I didn't
No,
know.
It's
it's
not
a
a
good
bad
question.
call out, yeah.
Yeah.
well,
Does it have enough teeth to be enforceable?
So
Yeah.
Chris, one of the things that you just said about being a small sale area, craft brewery, craft distillery may have a tasting area, so if they're gonna open up to small brewery, if they're gonna have that and have people come in and have drinks on site, is that what would that be considering as a small sale area that you're referring
Yes,
to?
yes, this is all great discussion. The answer is yes. I think you want to limit that tasting area to, I mean, you can say less than half, or less than 40, or less than 30. The issue is, I mean, that's why it's good you're doing this. Some of those uses are popping up and becoming very popular and getting a lot of people to come, and, that could be a great thing for our community. But they bring traffic, different peaks, and potentially different volumes. So if you had a brewery and then you end up with, 60,000 square feet of tasting area for big events, you're gonna need a pretty big parking lot, and suddenly you're talking about cars coming and going at a pretty good clip,
Now-
at a retail level kind of shopping center. So those are the kind of considerations. Maybe that's all right, but you need to be thinking about what that impact would be.
Now, they would have to apply for they would have to have a license to sell the alcohol there too, right?
Liquor license.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to have a liquor license, so we would regulate that through that.
25,000.
Was it, we called it out on here that facility should be 25,000 square feet or less total, including tasting areas and any outdoor area designated. So realistically, you're not going to have a very big area no matter what.
Right.
I mean, your brewing process takes up a good portion of 25,000 square feet.
It's good.
All right, thank you. Now, on to the Sportsman Club, Endeavor Court.
I'd like to make a motion to add. Do I need to make a motion for that, or?
Can I ask a question for it?
Yeah, I don't think I'm done yet.
Oh, sorry.
Unless Steve, you gotta go.
No, go ahead.
No, you go. You'll probably answer that question.
Oh, no, I just, one of the things that I think about when I look at this is there an intent to have drives to individual businesses happen on Sportsman Club? Or is the intent to get a road off of Sportsman Club that then has individual business, uses off of it? So I think that's an important distinction. If it was one big user, one drive, fine. If it's a number of smaller users, do you want a bunch of individual curb cuts on Sportsman Club? Or do you want those going to
Then we could decide that.
road has one access point on Sportsman? Club?
Yeah, and
And so, that's what I'm thinking about.
one of the call-outs was like, I saw the curb cuts, and it said, no curb cuts shall be 120 feet except blah, blah, blah. No curb cut, access drive, 35 feet. The fewer curb cuts, the better. So, yeah, that's exactly what I was wondering, because 120 feet is not a very sparse space. And if you've ever been in Newark and driven down 21st Street, that was a disaster, so.
So you would recommend then, if we did something like that, you would limit the amount of curb cuts on, if we added Sportsman Club?
We have it on there on page 7 of 9.
But is 120?
Do you want
I don't know. Like,
one?
this is-
I personally don't
Okay.
care, but that's my opinion.
Yeah.
I do. I like the
No,
one.
it's a valid, it's just,
I like one curb cut, and then you have an access road behind it.
yeah, you could
The
do
more
that.
curb cuts you have.
What's it say on 7 out of 9, or what'd you say?
There's a minimum distance between curb cuts of 120 feet, except that each lot is permitted a minimum of one curb cut. No curb cut or access drive shall be more than 35 feet in width, not including necessary turning radii to accommodate truck movements.
And if you say one curb cut on Sportsman Club for this set of uses, then you're saying there's going to have to be some coordination on how they access it.
Is 35 feet like a standard 2-lane, or is there, I don't know what the relation with roads for what 35 feet would be.
Yeah, it depends on the trucks using it. I'd have to look at that.
You can
Turning
ask.
stuff. I mean, 35 is a decent size, but they do become bigger. The issue here is that on Sportsman Club, and what type of road Sportsman Club is.
It's not big.
It's not a, right.
Yeah,
So
we
you
should have
probably do 35, you probably want to do
Before
wider
we-
to
brought it up, right?
a street width.
Yeah, Sportsman's Club
Oh,
is
it's
very,
not really
very.
an
Do we
Before we
own
leave.
Sportsman Club as a city? Is that part of ours?
It's not an applicant, so we didn't have to.
No.
Sort of.
So this is
Sort of.
for anybody.
Yeah.
So do we even have the
I don't
right
know the answer.
to answer, put that Sportsman Club in our writing? Okay.
Because that's what we're told to do.
That is what we're told to do.
Can I ask the property owners off Sportsman's Club, I know you guys are here, you spoke last meeting in January, what your thoughts were?
Yeah.
Or remind me, because I was trying to.
Well, that what we were
trying to
tasked to talk to the public, so public would like to come say their names and speak into the microphone.
I can help shed some light on that. So I'm not a property owner. My name is Justin Fox. I represent Rodney Johnson. We have been watching this process from afar now for several years. So one, I think that you guys have identified exactly what our concerns are, which is we're very appreciative to see. It's that this expansion of the uses is certainly something that we would like to see, but the exclusion of Sportsman's Club Road effectively exclude us from that. So I don't know if I can, answer those questions, or I can try to answer your questions that you might have, but our intention or our hope is that this text as drafted is used to apply to those Sportsman's Club Road properties, certainly.
So you are wanting Sportsman's Club included, or you are not wanting Sportsman's Club included?
We are wanting it
Okay.
included.
Included, okay.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
So in the section where it discusses these additional uses applying to property that has frontage on and access to 62 Commerce Boulevard, we would certainly want to see Sportsman Club Road included in that list.
And so I think that's what Kyle mentioned. I was also thinking the same thing of, if you're gonna list roads in here, let's list the roads. If we don't want to concern the roads, we should take the roads out, because light manufacturing already has certain roads already included. So if we're including them, then let's include all the roads that we need to, including Endeavor, whichever other roads. But
Yeah, and I think there was some intention from the historical conversations to exclude certain light manufacturing parcels, certainly. If I could have, one request or one revision, it would be very simply to include Sportsman Club. And to me, Endeavor seemed as if it should be on that. That's not really why we're here. We're not the applicant, but we're here to engage. Sportsman's Club being included on that list is absolutely our hope and our desire from you guys.
Does that also piggyback off of future plans for that property? I mean, what's the current use now for that?
So the current use is light manufacturing, and it's been light manufacturing since 2014.
I mean, like the actual use, right? Because there's no manufacturing buildings on it currently, correct?
No, it's farmland.
Farmland. So currently it's being farmed on.
That's right.
Okay. So then to be included in there would be because you have plans to sell it off at some point.
To be included in there, it creates a broadened opportunity for development potential on that property. Yes.
What's stopping today, if Sportsman's Club's not listed, what is it stopping?
These new.
These new conditions that we're adding.
But can't they come to us and we would approve something anyways?
Right, but it removes the red tape from people that do want to come in here. That was the whole point of opening it up, because if you add the condition already in there, then they don't have to come and talk to us. And it takes away, it keeps staff, they're not having to be bugged by it and stuff like that too.
Okay.
And the light manufacturing text as drafted is really limiting and difficult to work with. So as people review that text,
Better way of saying it.
it's something that we have thought
Figurines.
needed updated, and we've been engaged with the city
And that's what
for
Justin
a while.
and Chris have been doing then for us, right?
What's that?
Because they're the ones that wrote this, basically, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so this is an
Instead of just
updated
figurines,
version.
there's now a lot more options.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the original, did you? Yeah.
So-
Question, why did we take out baked goods and candy? Why is that?
I don't remember why, but we
we
decided
talked about it for a while, I don't remember why either, but we
You
did
guys talked
that.
about it, I'll try.
But with that note, now, if we
Well-
expand that area, we're gonna have, can the road handle it? Can Sportsman
Yes,
Club,
that's the next problem.
intersection, what's gonna happen to that? The people who live there and the homes down there, does taking on that risk benefit our community more than disrupting the streets?
Yeah, I think
Well,
we
what's the
have-
plan with 37, 30, 62, what's happening there?
There's like 1,500 plans, like, there is no plan. There is no plan. We have those roads
We
today.
have to pay for that in the future expansion of 3762, or
You all cap-
So
we being the city.
kind of a sidebar, there was a presentation,
Do we have any more questions for?
No, I'm sorry, yeah.
Thank you, Justin.
thank you for clarifying. Appreciate
I'll
it.
dive into that delicately. There was a presentation provided about a month ago on some improvements that will be made to 37 and 62,
Yeah.
related to some radius, some additional turn lanes, to increase the traffic flow in that particular area. But there's not going to be like additional lanes being added. Right now, there's been no outer belt or bypass identified. That's part of the study and the scope that they're doing at a very, very high level. So what you see there now will probably function better with the improvements that American Structure Point and the TID have put forth. But yeah, certainly something to consider.
Okay, and so then my next question is, I think this is what Steve's leaning into then. If they were to, you guys would, if you pass on the property in 20, 30, 40 years, as Ryan, you've always told me, what's that gonna look like, right? What's our traffic gonna look like? And a traffic study has to be done, but who does the traffic study? We don't pay for it, the business?
It's called out in here, anything over 20,000 square feet. It's
They
a
have to
traffic
do it.
study, and it calls out the
But
specific
the business owner
roads
has to
and
do
the
it, so it's, they have to pay someone to do it, not us, right?
Right.
So it's in their benefit to find someone who sides with them.
But then it also states.
Do we not
that Johnson-
recommend who they can use, or?
But it
What
also
do you
states-
mean, like do it on spring break? Like,
No, I mean like, I'm gonna be facetious about this, right? But I own the land and I can say, hey, I know Bob who owns a traffic study company. Bob, make this look good for me.
So I think ideally, the city would have an engineer on call, and so for those kind of things, the city's engineer would review their engineer.
Okay. Did not know how any of this worked.
checks and balances.
Yeah, you can request a traffic study, and I'll let Chris, you've been through this more often than I have, what all is entailed, what restrictions you can place depending on the traffic study's outcomes.
Yes, that's what
I'll
I
let
can.
Chris kind of dive into that.
The key thing with traffic studies is it's about the impact of the use. Lots of times communities are like, well, the conditions are bad there already, so we need these improvements. And the reality is, you can't burden the proposal to fix the background stuff. It's
Yeah.
to fix what they're creating. And so that's really the thing. So often what you'll see traffic studies say are some kinds of traffic control improvements, depending on some thresholds across, access points, things like a center turn lane on a 2-lane road, like, okay, you're gonna be adding enough traffic here, you need to put a third lane in for turns, for left turns, and on that road, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Then I know that village council then said, or no, city
City,
council, so
city.
sorry. In the letter to us, it said, compare it to what the long-term plan was, so make sure it aligns with that. Does something not align with the long-term plan than what we submitted previously?
Where are you at?
I'm sorry, on the,
Hold on a minute, what letter are you referring, I missed that.
the
Oh,
one
at the
from you
front,
guys
yeah.
to us, right?
It aligns.
This is from,
Signed Kyle Code. No.
I didn't sign it.
Oh, hold on, I thought it was from the commission.
no, this is from Trevor.
That's
Oh,
from
yeah,
Trevor,
okay, yeah, that was from Trevor, yeah. That was, I would say, when you
from
said
you guys.
city,
I
it
thought it
was
was
like,
from
I don't remember a letter from the city.
All right.
love this.
Well, and I can
It would be funny if be my name on
correct
it.
him very quickly if I'm wrong. But the comprehensive plan was one that
maybe.
potentially called out his property for residential instead.
I believe that is correct. I can't remember if it was both parcels or one parcel, but I believe you're right, Mark.
And so that's
Did we
the
miss
only,
something?
Check.
and like, we can't force someone to rezone either, so us saying, hey, we want to do it, this is what we're thinking, they've got the ultimate say, so
Yeah,
there's not really an impact there, but I'm just calling out because that's a different step.
okay.
Shows.
Expand the properties on which, okay,
Yeah, that's probably what Trevor was referring to.
brilliant,
Back to your curb cuts.
yeah.
I love the idea of limiting curb cuts because, I mean, you got just all the people who live on that road and live down that road who come to town having 10 curb, I
And you
mean,
also
this
don't-
is
you don't want
dangerous.
4 different tractor trailers trying to pull in at the same time.
What is typical on something like that?
So just like you have Commerce Drive, that whole idea is you're getting one street with one access point, and you're having the internal development go to that one street with a one access point onto the public network, onto the main network.
Back to my previous question, do you know how wide, you don't know this probably, how wide that intersection is there going onto 62 from Commerce? The reason I'm asking that is size-wise, the 35 feet that's listed in here, if we only put a 35-foot cut on Sportsman's Club into whatever may be there,
And the
Is
tire
that-
company already has an extra.
I think it'd be-
is that big enough for the,
Yeah,
because
it's
right
very-
now, going on to Commerce, I've been on and off of there, there's extra turn lane to get onto there if you're coming out of the city center.
They were both of them.
And then to come out of it,
The limit.
it's extra wide, so allowing large trucks to be able to come in and out of there, maybe the 35 feet isn't.
Yeah, you could say as approved by the city or something like that, so it can be reviewed.
Okay.
I mean, ideally, we take Endeavor Court and loop it around and connect to Sportsman's Club. So then it's one road all the way through there, and
Well,
there's
this-
only one curb cut.
We
on the
can't
Sportsman's
say
Club.
that, right? That's going to be up to the,
Developer.
I mean, you can ask for that, but I wouldn't, I wouldn't say here, you can say, you want to see one on Sportsman Club, and I think ideally, then city staff relays that our goal is to have a interconnected road network.
You certainly requested splits, as long as they meet the requirement of light manufacturing as far as lot splits goes. Any lot split would have to abut a public right-of-way, so depending on how they wanted to facilitate that, they could add additional roads in order to gain some, but I think to Chris's point, along Sportsman's Club, that whole front part, I mean, you could split those off into sections in accordance with your light manufacturing district and then have potential curb cuts. I don't know that the city would be able to restrict that because it's not identified otherwise in our code, so.
And we're only considering the part
It's within city.
that's
limits.
within city limits. Do we talk to Monroe about what they're doing now? Because I'm assuming you, just looking at it, you guys own all the property even past the city limits too.
I do.
Yeah.
I own the 80 acres past,
'Cause it's,
and I actually have a house there that abuts so I'm one of the neighbors. So.
Okay.
I actually own the house that abuts the.
so if you're going to talk, could you come up to the microphone, state your name? And
Well,
then,
he asked the question.
yeah, I know, I appreciate it. I know I'm throwing you under the bus.
We do appreciate you raising your hand. That was very school of you.
Very school, I try, but I do own the 80 acres that are next to it. And the whole rationale was, I think, initiated all of this, so over a year ago, probably about a year and a half ago, I think it was in December, because what was happening was, every time someone in the industrial park wanted to do something like tech, for example, is building a new building there on Sportsman Club, right? So they had to come to the zoning, they had to come and get an amendment because they didn't meet the requirements of zoning, right? So what we were trying to do is to clean it up. Because every time someone in the old industrial park wanted to do something, you'd have to come to the city and ask for permission to do it. So that's what we were trying to do, and, you know, I own industrial properties. I'm actually a manufacturer, so I have 3 factories, and I own various industrial properties, so that's why I bought it for. Years ago, I was looking at actually putting facilities there, right? So back before Sean, we had, we talked to the planning, and they were all for it, because everybody wanted to bring industrial jobs to Johnstown. So, that was the intent, was to try to clean it up. We personally, I don't have any intent to do anything. My family's going to build homes on that 80 acres that's next to it. So, but we're trying to clean it up because we're trying to be consistent with everyone within the district that we have.
I guess,
So that's all we're trying to do.
to your, I guess, an educated guess, in the stretch of land that we're talking about, is one curb cut what you would typically see?
I think you're probably looking at maybe 2.
Yeah.
Is what you're probably, because there's a lot of road frontage. I don't know how many, all that property has tremendous road frontage, like, you can ride by there, and everything across, there's a golf course, there's a housing development across from the property that we have. There's all kinds of stuff, because we own the 80 acres that's next to it, right? So it was just one large farm at one time. And then the farmer decided years ago that he would split it up and sell it for residential. Well, what ended up happening was I bought all the lots because my kids want to live on Sportsman Club. But what we're trying to do, I think, from an industrial point of view, is just clean it up. They may be in a position than we are. We're the second lot, right? So nothing's going to happen to us for that second lot I don't think, for an extended period of time, because you've got to go all the way to that second lot. And at one time, there's been all kinds of different plans. At one time, Rodney can tell you, they were talking about putting a road actually in between the property line, I think it was on his property line, but right between that 60 acres that he has and the 67 acres I have. At one time, they were talking about putting a road. So with different councils and different groups, they had different proposals over the years, right? And we've lived through all of this because we've owned this property for many, many years, right? And, we're just trying to get it cleaned up. So that's all we're asking. So we appreciate your time.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So the concern is just traffic then, at this point, right? Am I missing something?
Yeah, I think so. Traffic.
And you're gonna have traffic
You're
either
gonna have
way, whether
traffic,
you're
yeah.
putting residential
If
there
you put
or.
residential in there, it'd be night, well.
Yeah, you're gonna have a
Yeah.
lot of traffic then,
And there's no comprehensive plan from our friends at the state of what they're doing, clearly.
clearly.
Okay.
Is there any other comments from the public?
How about in the back?
No, hearing none.
Okay.
Any other discussion points from the board? Questions?
What happens next? We just send this to the council and they have to then approve it?
We're gonna have to make a motion on this.
We make a motion to recommend to council that they approve
You guys
with
send it back to
the
us again?
addition of, yeah. I don't think, I couldn't remember if I was a part of the sending it back. I don't think I
Okay.
was.
So in other words, we still have two roads that we're talking about, right? We have Endeavor and Sportsman Club.
Yeah.
Did,
Do we want to double check that those are the only two that we want to include?
Those are the only two that are there right now. We can be open to inclusion if other roads come in that area. But are you talking about flipping over to the south side?
No, because that's different. So it's on 62 as well anyway, so we covered all of 62.
I think that when we first talked about it, we had included everything that we thought was necessary.
Yes.
We just missed
Yeah.
Endeavor and.
That's why I just wanted to triple check to ensure.
We can.
That way,
So-
there's that,
those
where the
finicky
old,
people on
where
council
Old
don't.
Tech was.
Yeah. What's that?
So that way those finicky people that are on council don't come and say, you
Yeah,
guys
there-
missed another alleyway.
Yeah, there was one person
So-
that kicked it back.
Maybe we need to have them back up here just to clear, so we sent them this to council before and it was decent, except for the fact that we just missed a couple of roads. Is that what I'm understanding?
Well, we didn't,
The applicants were there to.
they asked us to revisit the community.
Yeah,
Based on what the community asked.
yeah. That's what I'm saying, yeah.
I think that was the biggest piece, though. is we
Right.
hadn't
That's-
Just
included
those
It
two.
So
wasn't
it's
that
not like a
clear. It
whole-
wasn't that
Because you guys
clear.
did all this before I got here, and I'm like,
Yeah,
that's a lot
yeah.
of questions. I
No,
have.
but it was good
Yeah,
to go through it.
another
I just
question.
think we did it like how many
Why'd
months
we
ago?
take out
I
bakery
can't
and, I'm
remember.
still, why'd we take out candy?
Go back to the,
We'll answer that, we'll answer that in a minute.
I
It's
wanna
because
know my
there's
candy.
confectionaries or something.
Oh, bakery, okay, all right.
All right, so
We
now,
switched it up.
now we're
My
at
cookies,
a,
man. Come on.
without any other comments, we're at a decision point. Does anybody have a motion?
So what's the motion now?
Well, I'd like to make a motion to approve this to council with the addition of Endeavor Court and Sportsman Club. Is that worded correctly?
I'm not sure, I just have a question, maybe Chris can help, or Sean. So the section that's restricting, that is the restriction is
We didn't talk about the road.
115902G.
Curb cuts.
No.
add that, we have to add that as part of
Good
it,
call
too.
out.
So,
Point of order.
following uses may be developed on parcels 2 acres or larger that have frontage on and access from US 62, Commerce Boulevard, or Greenscapes Court.
Yeah, so really
you
we're
just
just
want to add the two
make an amendment to
that, or
section G.
That's,
strike that?
yeah, that's.
And the
good.
curb cuts.
Yeah, so we want to add to section G, Sportsman's Club and Endeavor Court.
3, because there's already a curb cut there on Sportsman Club for tire.
What,
Or
where?
do we want to just remove
This is
the language?
Page 4 of 9, section G, because that's where this is,
That's where it's restricting the other one.
it's where we're
We don't
restricting
have-
the
I
streets
think-
there.
I don't think I want to remove the language.
Okay.
But then the curb cut piece, we have to,
There's already a curb cut on Tech Tire. I mean, they already have one entrance and exit.
We technically have two.
They have both of them.
They have,
So,
they have the two
that's
curb
cool.
cuts. So you guys can do whatever you want, you just can't have traffic going in and out of there.
Yeah, there we go, too.
We're good at our jobs. I need advice from Chris when you're done with that
Yeah,
project.
I mean, the curb cuts, yeah, I'm with you, we need advice. This is.
Tech Tire has a business office on Sportsman Club, and there's 2 curb cuts already into their parking lot.
Exist,
Yes.
right.
And those curb cuts are pedestrian traffic. Like it's normal vehicles. The trucks are coming down Commerce.
Right. Yeah, so I guess it's probably limiting to some kind of total number of curb cuts on.
So you just make it
on
4.
Sportsman, instead of making 4, if that's what
Just
you're
make it
looking
4,
for,
Steve.
3, or, yeah. what-
Is that reasonable?
We have the 120-foot call out on here too, so like.
It's not that far.
How many feet, it's not, but how many feet is that? That's, I guess, my question. How many?
How many feet is that?
How many curb cuts do we
How
have in
many
that whole
feet is
area?
that? We have 2 properties that are in question, basically, right? Let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
There's 2 properties that are there. How long is it from end to end? And then that'll tell
Well,
us
and
how
I
many
think-
curb cuts we're gonna be able to
I think what
have.
he was talking about was 2 curb cuts for,
It's a long.
So you're talking about this,
You measure outer bit.
Yeah.
You can measure it, but I think Tech actually has another curb cut, because they're doing an addition.
yeah, they have
So I
like,
think the city actually approved another curb cut, which is very close to their existing curb cuts, which is
wouldn't
not
be
what you
120
really want. Right?
Yeah.
And I would recommend that that's not what you really want, but that's what's been approved, because again, you're just approving things on a case-by-case basis, and no one's giving it a lot of thought.
Yeah.
So Johnstown City Council has already approved that?
That's correct.
So we can't do
So-
anything about that, so we can decide on the
So, Just be
4.
aware of that.
So does that need to
Where
be-
they're building the addition, they had to go, while this whole process has occurred, they wanted to do an expansion, so they had to approve, go before council and go before everyone for permission for this expansion. And with that expansion, I believe there's another curb cut there. At least that's what they're doing it for.
Is that dirt road?
construction.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
well, are you thinking that the curb cuts on the other side of 9711?
No, they,
'Cause if you-
where they're doing their expansion, if you go by there, I don't know.
It's a dirt road.
It's dirt right now, but I think that that's gonna be a curb cut. They're using that as a curb cut currently. Do you see?
I see what you're talking about. I just didn't know that that was going to become a permanent road.
I don't know. See, this here, I don't know. It looks like it's designed to be a permanent road. So I don't know if there's anything to stop them from that, because it looks like to me there's 3.
Yeah, and Ryan, were you a part of any of that conversation? Not to call you out from the crowd,
you
but
Atrium?
Sean, do you know of any of that? As
I'm
far
making
as,
quite leasing.
oh, okay, so is
I
Atrium,
could check. It might
that
take
must,
me.
that must be
a day.
tech.
I know when I saw the layout for what they were doing,
Atrium is tech?
I didn't see,
No. Two different companies.
Yeah.
I didn't see that that was going to be a permanent road on the layout, but it doesn't mean that they didn't change it.
Yeah, I would have to check.
And that was when I was working
So wait a
there.
minute, then. How is Atrium?
Atrium is on the corner of Commerce and
They
Endeavor.
own this land initially.
Oh, battery's dead.
We never approved it.
My battery's dead.
It's traffic.
For us. I think it's just construction.
You've got to.
Is that Atrium?
I think it's construction.
Why does it work here and not
Oh,
there?
that's Rodney. Oh, okay, okay.
Sounds like it's a construction entrance, because I don't remember ever.
Does that need to be into this or as a call-out?
Harumph. I need a gavel.
Council,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think council does curb cuts, we do.
Well, he owns all this out here.
One of my thoughts.
Not updating.
And that's why I was asking Sean.
Hold on, Chris, will you just wait a second?
I don't think council would be
Yes, that's Abby. This is
the
where
ones to approve
All right, Chris has a comment to make.
it either.
But it is within your purview to restrict the number of curb cuts as part of a zoning. I think if you were, this is an old zoning. If you were doing it today, you probably would have restricted some of the curb cuts on 62. As traffic has gotten increased. I guess I would just think about what's kind of, one of 2 ways. What's kind of the number of curb cuts that makes sense based on existing parcels and try to limit it. Or if you want to say there's got to be some street connection, we can think about some wording, but I guess, and I can work on it for you, just want some direction on what you're all thinking. But my advice would be to try to limit the number of curb cuts. I mean, every individual property that exists today technically allowed access, but, so you're probably at that number. But things can get subdivided or otherwise, so I think you want to see things either come under a subdivision process that creates something, or limit the number of curb cuts to what you've got, parcels you've got today, just to keep stuff from. continuing to.
Could you say something like 2 additional curb cuts to the existing parcels? Like, basically, the existing parcels are grandfathered, and, just say 2 additional curb cuts.
We'd have to probably be specific because this is zoning, so you're gonna have,
Yeah, that's
We
what
have
I'm
that
asking,
now.
yeah, I don't
Should we
know.
have that rewritten then? I mean, before we submit to council, should we ask for that to be rewritten and we review this again? Because we're not comfortable with what it is, it sounds like.
Would that, question, would that be 2 per existing property owner or 2? for the
2
collective?
period.
Is it
Collective
4?
area.
Is it 4 or is it 2?
2 more.
I follow you.
Well, and realistically,
But that doesn't mean anybody else does, Justin.
wouldn't one business need two?
I'm used to that.
Me too.
And in and out.
Yeah, it's technically two, correct?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So then you're calling it, we could have 2 businesses on Sportsman's Club if we're gonna have 4,
Right.
because they're gonna have an in and an out.
So 2 per existing parcel.
But then if we word it that way and you split the parcels into 30 parcels, then now we've got 60 curb
Well,
cuts.
per existing parcel. So there's the 2 existing parcels. If each parcel is given 2 curb cuts, that's restrictive. But it also provides ingress and egress for each parcel as they sit right now.
That's not bad. That's only 4 over 2,400 feet or something you measured, right?
2,800, yeah.
That would be fine wording if you want to limit the curb cuts, yeah.
But do we need to do that, again, not just for this road, like, do we need to do something holistically for the city now, as we update our,
Well, right now, we're just talking about
okay,
right where we are.
all right.
Is that something we're willing to decide today, or do we need to wait until?
We get it rewritten?
Yeah.
I mean, how can we make it that it's that specific for those 2
Yeah, it
parcels?
seems very
Do they
specific.
have numbers of the like, is it
Well, it'd be, yeah, we do.
like
It'd be-
0 Sportsman's Club?
It'd be that parcel or whatever.
What happens if they change it, then the parcel number's gonna change?
Yeah. Seems very specific.
Chris?
Yeah, let me think on that. Let me take a shot at something and send it back, unless there's an urgent.
Address.
Does have an address.
I don't
I don't think there's anything
think there's anything urgent, but I think that part is important to the board, so.
I think if we just
I think
call
if
out the specific
we
addresses, they
wait-
both have addresses.
See what Chris recommends and
Yeah, let me think about it.
thoughts?
Is your motion denied?
I get, the
Whoa,
motion
whoa,
was
don't
never
start
placed, 'cause I
throwing
think I
motions
said it wrong anyway,
So
so.
the language around
But I
this.
like
All right.
inclusion of it.
Table it.
Yeah.
So we just.
Yeah, that's what we'd have to do, to
Okay.
wait.
All right.
So are we all good with the conversation at this point before the M word is thrown out?
What?
Before a motion is put
Oh,
in place?
yes.
Honestly, it's just discussion really at this point. It's not an actual, I mean,
I mean, do
on
we
the
even,
agenda,
as I say, do we even have to make a motion?
I don't think.
Or do we make
I
the
don't
motion to
think so.
correct?
No, it was
No,
just
'cause it's
sent back to
general
planning and
discussion.
zoning by council for consideration, so.
Well, this is a first. It's always different here. So, all right, so we're just gonna make a recommendation back to city
MKSD.
council.
No.
Is that
When
correct?
you have something to recommend back,
We
but
will-
if you're not sure and there's still edits to be made, I would just
Table it.
keep it on. You can either table the discussion or just leave it and it'll go back on next agenda.
So just ignore it.
I was gonna take your direction and try to write some language.
And then for the next
Yeah.
meeting.
Just update it for next.
I think that's a great idea.
So if we want to make it official and just table it so it comes back up on the next meeting,
That's fine.
Do it.
okay, I will make a motion to table
Item number 5.
item number 5, section 1159, light manufacturing.
And I will second that.
Thank you, Chris.
Mark, was that you that made the motion?
Yes.
It was Mark.
I think it was Steve.
You spell his last name.
Cited.
Excitedly, he passed it.
Mark Zolonzowski,
Yes.
Todd McConnell,
Yes.
Brian Hebel,
Yes.
Steve Dyer,
Yes.
Kyle Cook.
Yes.
Hey,
Other business. Hearing none, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, aye, Captain.